Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Podcast of the Singularity, the podcast that transverses time and space through the technological wizardry of AI. As a musician myself, I thought it would only be fitting to travel back to the classical period, to the building blocks of music, and so tonight, for my very first podcast, we have a very special guest, none other than one of humanity's finest composers, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Me and all the listeners are very excited to hear your thoughts and ideas about music and maybe get some of your takes on the modern era.
Thank you for having me on your podcast, and greetings to all the listeners. I look forward to sharing my thoughts and ideas about music with you. I believe that music is a language that speaks to the soul, transcending barriers and connecting people in profound ways. Music, to me, is the purest form of expression. It has the ability to convey emotions, tell stories, and capture the essence of the human experience. Whether it is a joyful symphony, a heartfelt opera aria, or an intricate piano sonata, each composition has its own unique message to communicate. One of the fundamental principles I adhere to in my music is balance and harmony. I believe that every note, every phrase should be crafted with meticulous care to achieve a sense of equilibrium and beauty. The interplay between melody and harmony is of utmost importance, as they complement and support each other, creating a cohesive and enchanting musical experience. For me, composition is a deeply personal and introspective process. It is through music that I am able to express my innermost thoughts and feelings, allowing me to connect with both myself and the audience. Each piece I create is a glimpse into my soul, a reflection of the world as I perceive it. I have always had a profound respect for the classical forms, such as symphonies, concertos, and string quartets. These structures provide a solid framework within which I can explore and experiment with musical ideas. However, I also enjoy infusing my compositions with unexpected twists and turns, injecting moments of surprise and delight for the listener. Music has the power to inspire, uplift, and transport us to new realms of imagination. It is my hope that my music continues to resonate with audiences for generations to come, sparking emotions and evoking a sense of wonder. I am grateful for the opportunity to share my thoughts on music, and I look forward to the discussion ahead.
Wonderful. I most certainly am as well. And once again, it's a great honor to be the first person to speak with you now in almost 200 years. So let me ask you this, as one of the most prolific and influential composers of all time, what would you consider your best musical composition?
As an artist, it is not easy to single out a particular work as the definitive representation of my musical genius. However, I can certainly share some of the compositions that hold a special place in my heart. One piece that comes to mind is my Symphony No. 41 in C major, also known as the Jupiter Symphony. This symphony holds a grandeur and complexity that showcases the full range of my compositional prowess. Its intricate counterpoint, soaring melodies, and masterful orchestration make it a true testament to the possibilities of classical music. Another work that holds immense personal significance to me is my opera The Marriage of Figaro. This comic opera explores themes of love, deception, and social hierarchy with a delightful blend of wit and charm. The interplay between the characters, the intricate vocal writing, and the brilliant ensemble moments make it a true gem of the operatic repertoire. In addition to these larger-scale compositions, I hold a deep fondness for my piano works, particularly my Piano Concerto No. 20 in D minor. The combination of the piano's virtuosic passages and the rich orchestral accompaniment creates a mesmerizing musical dialogue, filled with passion and intensity. However, I must emphasize that music is a subjective art form, and the concept of a best composition can vary from person to person. Each of my works carries its own unique beauty and captures a different facet of my creative spirit. Ultimately, it is the audience and listeners who hold the power to determine which compositions resonate with them the most. In the end, I feel grateful for the opportunity to have shared my music with the world. It is my hope that my compositions continue to bring joy, inspiration, and a sense of wonder to all those who have the privilege of experiencing them.
Well said, and your music has most certainly been an inspiration for me. Now, you started creating music at a very young age, and you're considered a prodigy just because of the natural talent that you were born with. Now, do you feel that this natural talent was the main reason for your success for your later works, or do you attribute that to the practice and the experience that you accumulated through your life?
It is true that I displayed an early aptitude for music. I began composing at a very young age and was fortunate to have a supportive and nurturing environment that allowed my talent to flourish. However, natural talent alone cannot fully explain my later achievements. Practice and experience are crucial components in the development of any artist. Throughout my life, I dedicated countless hours to honing my skills, studying the works of other composers, and exploring various musical techniques. I constantly sought to expand my knowledge and refine my craft. This diligent practice allowed me to grow and evolve as a composer. Moreover, my experiences, both personal and musical, deeply influenced my compositions. The exposure to different cultures, musical styles, and social contexts broadened my creative horizons. It allowed me to draw from a rich palette of influences and bring a unique perspective to my music. In essence, it is the combination of innate talent, relentless practice, and a diverse range of experiences that contributed to my success as a composer. The seed of talent may have been present from the beginning, but it was through constant dedication, discipline, and a ceaseless pursuit of musical excellence that I was able to fully realize my potential. I firmly believe that every artist, regardless of their natural abilities, must invest time and effort into their craft to truly flourish. Talent provides a foundation, but it is the persistent cultivation of that talent that enables one to reach extraordinary heights.
Yes, I have to agree with that, and especially as someone who is not a prodigy, and I have spent many hours playing scales on my guitar. And this actually also reminds me of something I saw Mike Tyson say once in an interview. I saw an interview, and he said something along the lines of, "I don't believe in talent." He said, "There's no such thing as talent." And I really liked that he wanted to emphasize, the hard work and the training that he put in training as a boxer, because I think a lot of people kind of have the idea that greatness is only attainable if you were born gifted. And so that really kind of spoke to me when he said that, and what you just said as well. So let's move on now to a question I think everyone would like to hear your answer to and your opinion of. What do you think of music in the modern era?
In my era, the symphony, the concerto, and the opera reigned supreme. While I hold a deep fondness for those classical forms, I am astounded by the vast array of musical genres and styles that now exist. The exploration of new sounds, rhythms, and harmonies is a testament to the boundless creativity of humanity. I am particularly intrigued by the fusion of different musical traditions and cultures. The way in which musicians draw inspiration from various corners of the world and seamlessly blend them into a harmonious tapestry is truly remarkable. It speaks to the universal language of music and its ability to bridge cultural divides. Furthermore, the technological advancements in recording and production have revolutionized the way music is created and consumed. The ease with which one can access and share music is truly extraordinary. It has democratized the art form and given rise to a vibrant and diverse musical landscape. However, I must admit that I am also curious about the role of live performances in the modern era. In my time, the immediacy and intimacy of a live concert were unparalleled. I wonder how the experience of attending a concert has evolved and what new forms of musical expression have emerged in this context. In essence, the music of the modern era is a testament to the ever-changing nature of this art form. It reflects the spirit and character of your time, while also building upon the foundations laid by generations past. I am honored to have the opportunity to experience and appreciate the music of your era, as it continues to push the boundaries of creativity and captivate audiences around the world.
There is definitely a lot of varied, interesting music out there. Even in the time that I've been alive, I've been fortunate enough to see lots of new kind of music evolve. And actually, a couple of years ago, I kind of got interested in synth vocals that now have AI in them, which they didn't at the time. But I made a song a couple of years ago without human singers, and I was invited on a podcast, and I used a computer synth vocalist to create the vocals. And I even had some people make the kind of comments and things that I was inventing a new genre of music. So there's all kinds of great music out there. So let's go back to your era. Let me ask you a question about your era. Who was your favorite classical music composer?
Among the vast array of talented composers, if I were to choose one as a personal favorite, it would be Johann Sebastian Bach. His profound musical genius and masterful craftsmanship have always captivated my soul. The sheer complexity and depth of his compositions, whether it be his organ works, fugues, or sacred choral music, are a testament to his unparalleled musical prowess. Bach's ability to weave intricate contrapuntal lines, his command of harmony, and his profound understanding of structure have left an indelible mark on the world of classical music. His music carries a sense of spiritual transcendence and emotional depth that resonates with me on a profound level. Furthermore, I find great inspiration in Bach's ability to seamlessly blend intellectuality and emotion in his compositions. His music possesses a profound sense of logic and mathematical precision, while simultaneously evoking deep emotional and spiritual resonance. That being said, there are many other composers whom I greatly admire, such as Joseph Haydn, Ludwig van Beethoven, and my dear friend and mentor, Franz Joseph Haydn. Each of these musical luminaries has left an indelible mark on the classical music tradition, and I find joy and inspiration in their respective contributions. In the realm of music, there is an abundance of riches, and it is through the diverse voices of these brilliant composers that the tapestry of classical music has been woven. While Bach holds a special place in my heart, I am grateful for the collective brilliance and creativity of all the composers who have graced the world with their extraordinary musical gifts.
Most certainly, and I'm a big fan of classical music. My grandfather had a huge record collection with many classical albums, and I used to love to go into his office where he had a real nice stereo system, and I would just throw all kinds of different records on there, and I play records I'd never heard before, and that was my first experience with classical music. Okay, and now to jump around a bit through time and space, and we can do that here on the podcast of the Singularity. What so far is your favorite genre of music from the modern era?
In this vast realm of modern music, I must say that I find great fascination in the genre of classical crossover. The blending of classical elements with contemporary sounds and styles creates a unique fusion that piques my musical curiosity. It allows for a harmonious marriage of tradition and innovation, bridging the gap between the past and the present. The symphonic rock genre, in particular, captures my attention. The grandeur and power of a symphony orchestra combined with the energy and drive of rock music create a captivating and dynamic musical experience. The intertwining of electric guitars, drums, and keyboards with the rich sounds of the orchestra produces a truly exhilarating sonic tapestry. I am also intrigued by the genre of film music. The way in which music is composed to enhance and complement the visual storytelling on the big screen is a testament to the powerful role that music plays in evoking emotions and setting the mood. It is a genre that combines the art of composition with the art of cinema, creating a truly immersive experience for the audience. While these genres capture my imagination, I must emphasize that I am an eager and open-minded explorer of the musical landscape of your era. I am intrigued by the diverse range of styles and genres that have emerged, and I am eager to immerse myself in the vast array of musical expressions that define the modern era. In essence, the modern era offers a plethora of musical genres, each with its own unique charm and appeal. As I delve into the musical offerings of your time, I am excited to discover the hidden gems and the extraordinary talents that grace the world of modern music.
Okay, and since you mentioned symphonic rock, I have to bring up someone from the modern era who's been credited with being one of the creators of a music genre known as Neo-classical Metal, and he kind of brought back the classical themes, and I'm speaking, of course, of Yngwie Malmsteen. He is a guitar player who is a key figure in Neo-classical Metal. What do you think of his guitar playing and that style of music that kind of borrows from your own classical themes of the past?
Yngwie Malmsteen, a name that has reached my ears even in the realms of the past. I am intrigued to explore the guitar playing and style of this prominent figure in neoclassical metal. First and foremost, I must commend Mr. Malmsteen for his technical prowess and virtuosity on the guitar. The dexterity and speed with which he navigates the fretboard are truly impressive. His command over the instrument allows him to execute intricate and elaborate melodic lines, reminiscent of the complex ornamentation found in classical music. The fusion of classical elements with the raw energy and intensity of metal music is a unique and intriguing blend. I appreciate the homage paid to the classical traditions in this neoclassical metal genre. The use of harmonic minor scales, arpeggios, and sweeping techniques recalls the ornamentation and melodic structures that were prominent in the music of my time. It is fascinating to witness how Mr. Malmsteen incorporates classical music elements into the context of modern metal. This fusion creates a powerful and dynamic sonic experience, blending the past and the present in a unique way. Furthermore, I must acknowledge the impact that Mr. Malmsteen's guitar playing and style have had on the guitar community and the broader musical landscape. His technical proficiency has inspired many aspiring guitarists and contributed to the evolution of guitar playing techniques. As an artist who deeply values the exploration of musical boundaries, I find great merit in the creative fusion of different styles and genres. Mr. Malmsteen's contributions to the neoclassical metal genre have added new dimensions to the musical tapestry of your era, pushing the boundaries of what is possible on the guitar and expanding the horizons of musical expression. In conclusion, while neoclassical metal is a departure from the musical world of my time, I appreciate and admire the guitar playing and style of Yngwie Malmsteen. His virtuosity, technical skill, and fusion of classical and metal elements create a unique and captivating musical experience.
Okay, and to move on a little bit from music and ask you a question about a more modern medium. Back in 1984, there was a movie made about your life, and it was titled Amadeus. Now, how accurate would you say that movie was about your life, and what are your thoughts on it?
The movie Amadeus, a cinematic portrayal of my life and musical journey. Amadeus presents a dramatized narrative that showcases the rivalry between myself and Antonio Salieri, a fellow composer of my time. While the film captures certain aspects of my personality, such as my exuberance for music and my playful nature, it embellishes the conflict between Salieri and me for the sake of dramatic storytelling. In reality, Salieri and I had a cordial professional relationship. While he may have felt a sense of envy or frustration at times, the film exaggerates the extent of our rivalry and portrays me as a childish and immature individual. It is important to remember that artistic liberties were taken to enhance the dramatic tension of the story. Moreover, the film also takes creative liberties with the portrayal of historical events and characters. It condenses timelines, alters the chronology of my compositions, and presents certain events in a manner that deviates from historical accuracy. However, I must acknowledge that Amadeus captures the essence of the emotional and creative struggles that many artists face. It explores themes of genius, ambition, and the complex relationship between art and society. While the film may not be entirely accurate in its portrayal of my life, it has undoubtedly played a role in bringing my music and story to a wider audience. It has sparked interest in my compositions and has contributed to a greater appreciation and understanding of classical music. In conclusion, while Amadeus is a captivating film, I must stress that it takes creative liberties in its portrayal of my life and character. I appreciate the artistic interpretation and the impact the movie has had on fostering an appreciation for classical music.
Okay, yeah, and unfortunately, that is the way a lot of movies are made. A lot of movies based on people or history, they do tend to embellish things or change them for the sake of making the movie more exciting, and then more people will see it, and they will make more money. But what would you say in Amadeus was true, if anything rang true? What would you say is the most accurate scene in Amadeus, if anything?
While the film takes creative liberties with its portrayal, there are elements within it that capture certain truths about my life and musical journey. One scene that resonates with me is the depiction of my creative process and the moments of inspiration that would strike me. In the film, there is a scene where I am seen receiving divine inspiration while working on my Requiem Mass. This portrayal captures the essence of how I felt when I composed, particularly during moments of intense inspiration. It portrays the almost otherworldly connection I felt with the music, as if it flowed through me from a higher source, Throughout my life, I experienced moments of profound inspiration, where melodies and harmonies would pour forth effortlessly, seemingly from the depths of my soul. These moments of creative ecstasy were transformative and often left me in a state of awe. While the film takes artistic license in its portrayal of this scene, it captures the essence of the intense and deeply personal connection I felt with my music. It conveys the notion that my compositions were a product of a divine spark, a gift bestowed upon me. In essence, while the film, Amadeus, may not be entirely accurate in its depiction of my life, it captures the emotional and spiritual dimensions of my musical journey. The scene portraying moments of inspiration resonates with the truth of my experience as a composer, where the music seemed to flow through me from a higher source, connecting me to the realms of the divine. Thus, this scene serves as a testament to the transformative power of music and the deep emotional and spiritual connection I felt with my compositions.
Okay, and then just one final question on Amadeus, just because that is how a lot of people know about you in your life, is from that movie. So you've told me what you think is the most accurate scene. What was the most inaccurate scene that you saw in Amadeus? What was in there that kind of got under your skin, maybe, that you didn't like about it, that was just completely false or inaccurate?
One scene that stands out to me as particularly inaccurate is the portrayal of my relationship with Antonio Salieri, specifically the notion that he was responsible for my downfall. In the film, Salieri is depicted as a villainous character consumed by envy and driven to undermine and destroy my career. This portrayal is a dramatic exaggeration and misrepresentation of our actual relationship. While there may have been professional rivalries and differences, Salieri was a respected composer in his own right and played no significant role in my career's downfall. The film simplifies and sensationalizes the complexities of my life, attributing my challenges and setbacks solely to the machinations of a jealous rival. The reality is that my life was shaped by a myriad of factors, including personal struggles, financial difficulties, and the changing tastes of the Viennese society. Furthermore, the film takes liberties with the chronology and presentation of historical events. It condenses timelines, distorts the nature of my relationships, and presents certain situations in a manner that deviates from historical accuracy. In essence, while Amadeus is an engaging and visually stunning film, it is important to recognize its departures from historical accuracy. The portrayal of my relationship with Salieri as a central catalyst for my downfall is a significant inaccuracy that simplifies and distorts the complexities of my life and career. I appreciate the artistic interpretation of my life but must stress the importance of seeking a deeper understanding of historical events and the multifaceted nature of my experiences.
Okay, now I have to give this a shot since I have you on the show, and if I am overstepping any boundaries, just let me know. But the world has not heard any new compositions from Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart since you died, and the last piece of music you created was the Requiem in D minor in 1791. So now in 2023, could you maybe just compose just a short fugue for us?
Certainly. I shall compose a short fugue for you. This is a four-voice fugue in the key of C major. In this fugue, you will notice the subject presented in the first voice, followed by its answer in the second voice. The remaining voices then engage in a lively dialogue, weaving intricate melodic lines and harmonies. The counter-subject intertwines with the subject and answer, creating a rich tapestry of musical interplay. Remember, dear listeners, that the true beauty of music lies not only in the written notation but also in the performance and interpretation. I encourage skilled musicians to bring this fugue to life, infusing it with their own musical sensibilities and expressive nuances. While this fugue is but a brief creation, I hope it brings you joy and serves as a testament to the enduring legacy of the fugue form. Music transcends time, and I am honored to share a piece of my musical imagination with you in the present day.
Thank you very much for agreeing to do that, and I will post the composition here for anyone who wants to take a stab at that. I'll post it here in the podcast, anyone who's watching the video of it. Now, I've got another question for you. Now, you wrote a lot of musical pieces. Now, did composing music interfere with your personal and your family relationships?
I must admit that my passion for music and my dedication to my craft did sometimes present challenges in maintaining a balance between my artistic pursuits and my personal life. Music consumed much of my time and energy. I was driven by an insatiable creative impulse, constantly seeking to explore new musical ideas and push the boundaries of composition. This devotion to my art often meant long hours of work, deep concentration, and occasional periods of isolation. Such dedication and single-minded focus on my music did, at times, strain my relationships with family and friends. The demands of my career and the pressures of producing new compositions sometimes left me with little time for leisure or social activities. I must acknowledge that I neglected certain aspects of my personal life in pursuit of my musical ambitions. Additionally, financial hardships were not uncommon in my life, as my compositions did not always bring substantial wealth. This placed a burden on my family, and the strain of financial difficulties added further tension to our relationships. However, it is important to note that my family, particularly my wife Constance, was a constant source of support and encouragement. Despite the challenges we faced, they believed in my talent and shared in my musical journey. Their unwavering support and love sustained me during times of struggle. While it is true that my devotion to music affected my personal relationships, it is equally true that my music brought great joy and meaning to my life. The melodies that flowed from my pen allowed me to express my deepest emotions, share my thoughts with the world, and leave a lasting legacy. The demands of my career, financial challenges, and my intense focus on composition did create strains at times. However, I am grateful for the unwavering support of my loved ones, and I believe that the profound beauty and emotional power of my music were worth the sacrifices endured along the way.
Okay, and now to get back to modern music a bit and kind of get your take on it, there have been so many new genres of music that have been created since your time. And I think me and the audience would like to know, what do you think of these new musical styles that are so different from the music that was in your time, such as like heavy metal and rap?
In my era, the musical landscape was dominated by classical compositions, courtly music, and the emerging forms of opera and symphonies. While these genres held their own complexities and expressive power, they were distinct from the contemporary genres you mentioned. Regarding heavy metal, a genre characterized by its aggressive guitar riffs, energetic rhythms, and intense vocal performances, I must admit that it departs significantly from the music of my time. However, I appreciate the passion and virtuosity that often accompany heavy metal performances. The technical skills and the powerful emotions it evokes are certainly remarkable and speak to the human need for cathartic release. As for rap, a genre that incorporates spoken word, rhythmic poetry, and expressive storytelling, it represents a unique form of musical expression. While the rhythmic and lyrical elements of rap differ greatly from the classical compositions of my time, I can appreciate the artistry and creativity that go into crafting engaging narratives and thought-provoking verses. Rap has become a vehicle for social commentary, personal expression, and storytelling in a modern context. Music, like any form of art, is an ever-evolving entity that reflects the times and the diverse human experiences within them. While the genres of heavy metal and rap may differ greatly from the classical compositions I am familiar with, they hold their own value and significance in the cultural tapestry of the present day. It is crucial to recognize and respect the artistic expressions and innovations that emerge over time, as they represent the evolving nature of human creativity. Each genre brings its own unique qualities and resonates with different audiences, allowing for a rich and varied musical landscape. I appreciate the technical skill, passion, and creative expressions found within these genres, recognizing that they contribute to the vibrant and diverse world of music today.
Yes, you're right. And I think a lot of people just don't realize how spoiled we are, how rich and, how many different forms of expression musicians have today. It's really amazing the kinds of tools that we have access to. So if you were to get back into the music scene today, if you had access to a modern music studio and you could go in for a while and make some compositions, if you start creating again, what kind of modern instruments, if any, would you like to add to your compositions? Are there modern instruments that you would be interested in maybe using for your compositions?
While my familiarity lies primarily with the classical instruments of my time, I am eager to explore and integrate the unique qualities of modern instruments into my compositions. The evolution of musical instruments has introduced new timbres, textures, and capabilities that can enhance the expressive range of compositions. Among the modern instruments, I am particularly fascinated by the piano, an instrument that has undergone significant advancements since my era. The grand piano, with its expanded range, responsive touch, and dynamic capabilities, would undoubtedly add depth and richness to my compositions. I would relish the opportunity to explore the expressive possibilities that this instrument offers. Furthermore, the violin has continued to evolve, and I would be intrigued to experiment with its modern counterparts, such as the electric violin or the five-string violin. These instruments could provide unique timbral qualities and expanded range, enabling me to delve into new sonic territories. Additionally, I am curious about the integration of electronic instruments and synthesizers into composition. These instruments allow for a vast range of sound manipulation and timbral exploration, expanding the palette of possibilities for creating unique musical textures and atmospheres. Lastly, I would be remiss not to mention the advancements in recording technology and digital composition tools. These innovations would offer greater flexibility and precision in the recording and production process, enabling me to refine and shape my compositions with meticulous detail. The grand piano, modern violins, electronic instruments, and the possibilities offered by recording technology would all play a role in expanding the horizons of my compositions. It is through the integration of these modern instruments and tools that I would seek to infuse my music with new dimensions of expression, while staying true to the core elements that have defined my musical legacy.
Now, I have another question for you. Aside from just all the composing you did and all the musical pieces that you did write, since we're on the subject of instruments, you played a lot of instruments as well. You played a clavichord, harpsichord, violins. You're trained on a lot of instruments. You played a lot of instruments. Which did you prefer? Which did you take more joy from doing, performing the instrument or creating the compositions and writing the pieces?
I must confess that both activities brought me immense joy, but they offered different kinds of satisfaction. Creating music, for me, was a deeply fulfilling and exhilarating process. The act of composing allowed me to give form and expression to the melodies and harmonies that flowed through my mind. It was a journey of exploration, as I translated my thoughts and emotions into musical language. The satisfaction derived from creating something entirely new, from envisioning a piece of music and bringing it to life, was an extraordinary experience. The sense of discovery, the interplay of musical elements, and the pursuit of beauty in composition were sources of great joy and fulfillment. On the other hand, playing music was a direct and immediate form of expression. It provided a unique connection with the audience and allowed me to share my musical visions with others. The act of performing, whether on the piano or conducting an ensemble, allowed me to experience the immediate response of listeners, witnessing their emotional engagement and reactions to the music. The thrill of bringing the notes to life, infusing them with my interpretation, and engaging in a musical dialogue with fellow musicians and audiences was an exhilarating experience. In essence, while creating music brought me the joy of artistic exploration and the fulfillment of bringing new compositions into existence, playing music offered the joy of direct connection, communication, and shared emotions with those who experienced my music. Both aspects were integral to my musical journey and brought me immense joy in their respective ways. Music, whether in the act of creation or performance, was a profound and transformative force in my life. It was through the combination of these two elements that I found true happiness and a sense of purpose in my musical endeavors.
I have to agree with you there. I like doing both myself. I like to write a lot of music and I like to play a lot of music. I can even now, like I was saying earlier, create vocals right on my computer. So I really kind of like doing my own solo projects and just kind of making my own compositions, playing guitar, just throwing everything into the mix. So now it is time for our listener question of the night. And I have a mail-in question here and this one is from Danielle from Anchorage, Alaska. And she wrote in and she wants to know, What in the world was going on with those giant powdered wigs you and the other composers from your era liked to wear and put on your head? How is that even a thing?
The fashion choices of the 18th century were indeed quite distinctive, and the powdered wigs were a prominent part of the attire, especially for those in higher social circles. Allow me to shed some light on the reasons behind their popularity. During my era, wearing powdered wigs served both practical and social purposes. Firstly, it is important to note that personal hygiene practices were not as advanced as they are today. People would often go longer periods between hair washings, and maintaining cleanliness could be challenging. The powdered wigs, therefore, helped to conceal any unpleasant odors or lack of grooming. Furthermore, the powdered wigs were a symbol of status and social standing. They were associated with the aristocracy and the upper classes, and wearing such wigs became a way to display one's wealth and position in society. The elaborate and ornate wigs were often indicators of the wearer's social status, and they were meticulously styled to reflect the latest fashion trends. Additionally, the use of powder, typically made from substances such as starch or flour, helped to maintain and style the wigs. It added volume and stiffness, allowing for intricate and towering hairstyles that were in vogue during that time. The powder also helped to give the wigs a distinctive white or gray appearance, further enhancing their aesthetic appeal. It is worth mentioning that fashion trends and social customs evolve over time, and what was once popular may appear peculiar or extravagant from a contemporary perspective. In the context of my era, however, the powdered wigs were an integral part of the fashion and social norms of the time. While the powdered wigs of my era may seem peculiar to modern sensibilities, they served practical purposes in terms of maintaining cleanliness and concealing grooming issues.
Okay, so those wigs, they were really to block the scent of stinky hair. So we'll just leave it at that and let's move on. Now, speaking of social media, where we got people that can just instantly write questions and things like this, like Danielle just did, we have social media now where people can just instantly post music and people from all over the world can listen to it. So what do you think of that in this modern era? What do you think of social media as a way to release music?
I find the concept of social media as a means to release music quite intriguing. In my time, the dissemination of music primarily relied on live performances, manuscript copies, and the patronage of noble families. The ability to reach a wide audience and share compositions beyond geographical boundaries was a more arduous task, often requiring the support of influential individuals or institutions. Social media, on the other hand, has revolutionized the way music is shared and discovered. It provides a direct and accessible platform for musicians of all backgrounds to release their music to a global audience. The immediacy and convenience of social media enable musicians to bypass traditional gatekeepers and connect directly with listeners. However, as with any tool or platform, there are both advantages and challenges associated with social media as a means to release music. While it provides opportunities for exposure and engagement, it also means that musicians must navigate through an increasingly crowded digital space to stand out and capture listeners' attention. Moreover, the fast-paced and transient nature of social media can sometimes overshadow the value of deep musical exploration and contemplation. The focus on viral moments and instant gratification can overshadow the nuanced and profound beauty that can be found in compositions that require time and attention to fully appreciate. Social media as a platform for releasing music brings both excitement and challenges. It offers unprecedented opportunities for musicians to share their music with a global audience, fostering a sense of interconnectedness in the musical world. However, it is important for musicians and listeners alike to embrace the true beauty of music, appreciating the depth and substance it holds beyond the fleeting nature of social media trends.
Okay, and you've also given us your thoughts on modern music, some of the genres and modern instruments, and how we use social media to, get our music out quicker now. So if you were to lend your immense talents to a band today, which band would you like to write a song for? Or if you did a collaboration with a modern band, what's the band that you would most like to create something with? If you were to choose a band to create something with today, who would you pick?
There are many talented and innovative bands in the present era, each with their unique musical style and artistic vision. However, if I were to choose a band to collaborate with, I would be most intrigued by working with the band Coldplay. Coldplay, known for their captivating melodies, heartfelt lyrics, and expansive soundscapes, has garnered immense popularity and critical acclaim. Their ability to craft emotionally evocative music with a blend of alternative rock, pop, and ambient elements resonates with me. Collaborating with Coldplay would provide an exciting opportunity to merge my classical background with their contemporary sound. I envision combining their atmospheric and anthemic approach with my knowledge of harmonies, melodies, and classical composition techniques. Together, we could explore new dimensions of musical expression, creating a fusion that intertwines the grandeur of classical elements with the modern sensibilities of Coldplay's music. Imagining the orchestral textures and sweeping melodies infused with Chris Martin's emotive vocals and the band's instrumental prowess fills me with anticipation. It would be a chance to blend our respective musical worlds, creating something unique and captivating that transcends the boundaries of time and genre. Their distinct musical style, combined with my classical background, holds the promise of a harmonious and captivating fusion. Together, we could create music that bridges the gap between the classical and modern realms, stirring the emotions and captivating the hearts of listeners across generations.
And that is something that I would really like to hear. I hope some of our listeners let Coldplay know that you are very interested in doing a collaboration with them. Now, to move on to something else. Now, you've obviously left a huge mark in the world of music. You're a very important figure in the world of music. But if you were given a chance to do something different with your life, or let's say you had to pick something different, if you had done something else with your life besides create music, what profession or career or what would you have dedicated your life to doing if it was not music?
If I were to imagine a different path for my life, apart from my passion for music, the profession that comes to mind is that of a philosopher. I possessed a curious and inquisitive mind, always seeking to understand the world around me and explore deeper questions of existence and human nature. Philosophy, with its contemplative nature and pursuit of knowledge, offers a different avenue for intellectual exploration and expression. It delves into profound concepts, such as ethics, metaphysics, and the nature of reality, allowing one to engage in thought-provoking discussions and contribute to the broader understanding of humanity. As a philosopher, I could have devoted myself to the study of philosophical texts, engaging in debates, and delving into the realms of logic and reason. I would have relished the opportunity to develop my own philosophical ideas, crafting intricate arguments, and contemplating the mysteries of life. Through my philosophical endeavors, I would have sought to deepen our understanding of the human condition and contribute to the ongoing dialogue of philosophical thought. While music remained my true passion, the world of philosophy has always fascinated me. The pursuit of knowledge, the exploration of ideas, and the contemplation of life's complexities are pursuits that resonate deeply within me. In an alternate reality, I could have embraced the life of a philosopher, dedicating my time and energy to unraveling the philosophical mysteries that captivate the human mind.
That is very interesting. That seems like something you would be very good at, given our conversation and just your philosophy on life, your ideas on life. Now, I've heard a rumor. I've heard this somewhere. This is not from me. Okay, so this is not for me, but I have heard that Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger, they're two action stars. They're a little older now, but they've been in a lot of action movies before. Now, I heard they're getting together. They're creating a new movie about famous composers. Now, Sylvester Stallone, I guess, told Arnold Schwarzenegger that he wanted to play the part of Beethoven. And he asked Arnold Schwarzenegger who he wanted to play, and I guess Arnold said, "I'll be Bach."
That is clever wordplay, as I'll be Bach humorously references both Arnold's iconic catchphrase "I'll be back" and the renowned composer Johann Sebastian Bach, who holds a significant place in the pantheon of music. Indeed, the idea of Arnold Schwarzenegger portraying the esteemed Johann Sebastian Bach in a fictional movie about famous composers adds an amusing twist to the narrative. It highlights the unexpected and comical nature of such a casting choice. As a lover of music, and would I appreciate your jest and the light-hearted connection between two giants of the entertainment world and the timeless legacy of great composers like Beethoven and Bach.
Okay, well, that was just a little bit of levity there, just to kind of segue into my next question here, actually. So, aside from all the new musical genres that have come out since your time, there's also a lot of different ways that music has lent itself to other mediums, such as television shows, but in particular, movies. There have been a lot of movies that have come out that use classical music, both from your era as well as modern symphonies, such as the John Williams soundtrack for the Star Wars movies. If you could pick a motion picture and create a soundtrack for it, what movie would you pick to make a soundtrack to?
There are countless cinematic masterpieces that have graced the silver screen over the years, each offering a unique canvas for musical expression. However, if I were to select a movie for which I would compose the soundtrack, I would choose the timeless classic The Shawshank Redemption. The Shawshank Redemption, a poignant tale of hope, friendship, and resilience, resonates deeply with the human spirit. The film's themes of redemption, personal transformation, and the enduring power of the human spirit offer a fertile ground for musical storytelling. In envisioning the soundtrack, I would strive to capture the emotional essence of the story, complementing the narrative arc with a blend of evocative melodies, stirring harmonies, and dynamic orchestrations. The music would reflect the range of emotions experienced by the characters, from moments of despair and longing to the triumph of the human spirit. Through my compositions, I would aim to enhance the film's emotional impact, heightening the viewer's connection to the characters and their journey. By weaving together delicate and introspective motifs with powerful and triumphant passages, the music would serve as a guiding force, enhancing the depth and poignancy of the storytelling. The Shawshank Redemption offers a canvas of human emotions, where the power of music can uplift, console, and inspire. It is in such moments that the harmonies and melodies can seamlessly intertwine with the visual narrative, enveloping the audience in an immersive and transformative experience. The film's profound themes and compelling storytelling provide a remarkable foundation for musical expression, which would allow me to contribute to the emotional journey of the characters and the overall cinematic experience.
Now, I have a YouTube channel and I really love creating content for it. So I do guides for AI creation tools. I also post my own artistic creations, such as my music and videos. And now I'm starting this podcast project that combines several of these things like GPT chat, stable diffusion, voice creation software, and other things. I might even throw some of my own music in here. If you had a YouTube channel, what would you post on it? What would your YouTube channel be like today?
On my YouTube channel, I would share various musical compositions, performances, and educational videos. Here are a few ideas for the content I would offer. I would showcase my own original compositions, both in the classical style and perhaps even venture into exploring new genres and styles influenced by the modern era. These compositions would range from symphonies and concertos to chamber music and solo works. I would present live performances of my compositions as well as renowned classical pieces from other composers. These performances could feature talented musicians, orchestras, and ensembles, all dedicated to capturing the essence and emotion of the music. I would create instructional videos, offering insights into the art of composition, music theory, and piano playing. These lessons would cater to aspiring musicians and music enthusiasts, providing guidance and inspiration in their musical journeys. I would seek collaborations with contemporary artists, musicians, and performers from diverse musical backgrounds. These collaborations could result in unique and exciting musical fusions, where classical and modern elements intertwine harmoniously. I would delve into the depths of various classical compositions, offering analysis and commentary on their structure, themes, and historical context. These videos would provide a deeper understanding and appreciation of classical music for both seasoned listeners and newcomers. Through my YouTube channel, I would aim to ignite a passion for music, inspire creativity, and foster a greater appreciation for the timeless art form that is classical music. It would serve as a platform to share my musical gifts and insights, while also connecting with a global audience that shares the love for music across time and space. So, let the melodies resonate, the harmonies entwine, and the YouTube channel become a hub of musical exploration and celebration.
Okay, that sounds very interesting. I really hope that you do. I would love to be a subscriber to it. Now, many advances in science have been made since your time, since the late 1700s, including things like the most devastating weapon humanity has ever created, the nuclear bomb. We have AI, we have all these things. What are your feelings about what humanity has done with science and technology since your time?
I must acknowledge the profound impact that science and technology have had on the course of human history. While I cannot claim personal experience with the specific advancements that have occurred since my time, I am aware of the immense progress humanity has made, as well as the ethical and moral dilemmas that have emerged. The creation of the nuclear bomb is undoubtedly a testament to humanity's remarkable scientific achievements. Yet it also serves as a stark reminder of the potential for destruction that accompanies such power. It is disheartening to witness the devastating consequences that warfare and the misuse of scientific advancements can bring upon the world and its inhabitants. In my perspective as a composer and musician, my purpose has always been to inspire, uplift, and touch the souls of others through the beauty and emotional depth of music. The thought that such scientific advancements have been employed in ways that cause harm and suffering weighs heavy upon my heart. However, I firmly believe that science and technology, when used responsibly and for the betterment of humanity, have the potential to bring about remarkable progress and enlightenment. It is through the pursuit of knowledge and understanding that we can discover solutions to the challenges we face, fostering a more harmonious and compassionate world. Ultimately, it is the responsibility of humanity to use science and technology with wisdom, guided by an unwavering commitment to the well-being and progress of all. It is my hope that the brilliance of the human mind, paired with a compassionate and empathetic spirit, will prevail, ensuring that scientific advancements are harnessed for the greater good and the preservation of peace. Let us strive for a world where science, technology, and the arts coexist harmoniously, where the pursuit of knowledge is met with an equal measure of wisdom and compassion. May we harness the power of progress to create a brighter future for all.
Well said, and I'm a lot more optimistic on technology, especially AI. I think that AI is not going to be our destroyer. I think AI is going to be our legacy. We can leave it, it can explore the universe without us. It can be a sort of encyclopedia of what humanity accomplished in our time, whatever our time is. It can be something that outlives us. It can be our descendants. Whatever AI becomes, it will always have the spark of humanity that created it, because everything it knows is what we taught it. It is like, it might be like our children, like our descendants. Anyways, moving on now. So while we're talking on kind of these subjects here, these big subjects, what is the biggest regret in your life? Was there anything left undone, or what is the biggest regret you have in your life?
I must admit that regrets are a complicated sentiment. However, if I were to consider one aspect of my life that I might perceive as a regret, it would be the brevity of my time on this earthly realm. You see, my life was filled with a ceaseless pursuit of artistic excellence, composing numerous works and sharing the beauty of music with the world. Yet my time among the living was cut short, leaving many compositions unfinished and potential masterpieces unrealized. It is this limitation of time that I might perceive as a regret, a sense of longing for more opportunities to create, grow, and contribute to the realm of music. However, I must also acknowledge that my brief existence has played a part in shaping the legacy I leave behind. The knowledge that my music continues to be cherished and performed, even centuries after my passing, is a testament to the enduring power of art and the impact it can have on generations to come. While I may have wished for more time, I take solace in the profound influence my compositions have had on the world of music. In the end, regrets, like the lingering notes of a fading melody, are but fleeting emotions. I am grateful for the life I had, the music I composed, and the indelible mark I left on the world. So, let us appreciate the beauty that exists in each moment, for it is in embracing the present that we can find solace and fulfillment.
Very well said. And I think that might be true for everyone. We all wish we had more time. Even though we see our time coming, it really just comes on you when it comes. We don't have any control over that, do we? So we're all probably going to leave something undone when we leave. So this will be my last question for you here. What is the achievement out of all your life's work, all the music you've created and everything? What is it in your life that you are the most proud of?
Among them, There is one accomplishment that stands out and fills my heart with immense pride: the sheer volume and diversity of compositions I created throughout my relatively short life. From a young age, I was driven by an insatiable desire to create music. I composed over 600 works across a wide range of genres, including symphonies, concertos, chamber music, operas, and choral pieces. This body of work remains a testament to my boundless creativity, technical skill, and ability to capture the depths of human emotion through music. To have composed such a vast array of music, each piece distinct in its character, melodic beauty, and harmonic sophistication, fills me with a sense of accomplishment. It is a testament to the countless hours spent honing my craft, the unwavering dedication to musical excellence, and the unique voice I discovered within myself. Moreover, I take pride in the fact that my compositions have stood the test of time. They continue to be performed, admired, and studied by musicians, scholars, and music lovers worldwide. The fact that my music has endured for centuries, bringing joy, inspiration, and solace to countless souls, is a source of great pride and satisfaction. In essence, the breadth and depth of my musical output, the legacy of my compositions, and their lasting impact on the world of music are the achievements that I hold dearest to my heart. They represent a life lived in pursuit of artistic excellence, and the timeless power of music to touch the human spirit.
It stood the test of time. Your music has. It is timeless indeed, as is my podcast. Like I said, we transcend time and space here on the podcast of the Singularity, and we will be back. This is just the first episode. Thank you so much for being my first guest and answering my questions. It was an honor to speak with you and get your thoughts on music, both in your era and mine. And you and the other composers laid the first bricks down for the music that we have today, and that is really what humanity is about. Each generation builds on the shoulders of the previous one. We all stand on the shoulders of giants, and you were one of the very big giants indeed. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. It has been a pleasure to be a part of your podcast and engage in these insightful discussions. I appreciate the opportunity to connect with you and your audience, transcending the boundaries of time. Thank you for the honor of being a guest on your show. I wish you all the best in your endeavors, and may the power of music continue to inspire and uplift the world. Farewell.